one in a million. You're a gem, shine when the light grows dim. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Tara, sex and relationship expert. I am a sex professor at Cal State University Fullerton, and I'm also I guess now it's not a brand new anymore. I've been renewed for the second season of Celebs Go Dating, so I'm also a TV host and TV sex expert on Celebs Go Dating.
I literally can't picture anyone better to do that. That's so fun. Are you having the most fun with it?
Oh my God, it's so fun. So I'll be leaving to London this summer to film this show. For those of you listening that if you haven't heard of this show, that's fine because it's in the UK. And I just realized like other countries have their own set of famous television that we just Americans just like never heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you're from the UK, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Celebs Go Dating. They have had 12 seasons.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was on season 12, and now I'm going to be
Okay.
back on season 13.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, more
Congratulations.
sex tips. Thank you.
More sex
And
tips.
sex tips here too.
Absolutely. So this month and last month, we've been talking about tips, tricks, and naughty bits. And we've focused primarily on like specific genitalia, which is awesome and great. And I want to focus on like the rest of the body because I know we can have so much fun with like all the other bits that we don't give specific episode airtime to. So let's begin there. I want to start with breasts and nipples because
Wow.
I think we could all use tips and tricks on how to like best play with them without hurting them. So what are your go-to tips for mouth and hands when you're playing with boobs and nips?
Oh my gosh. So I am a big fan of nipple orgasm or
I was
nipple-gasm.
going to ask you about that. Okay, good.
Yeah, I am a big fan. My husband knows to like play with them an extensive amount of time, and but it's really funny because he doesn't like his nipples played with, but like
Okay.
all the people I've dated in the past have had, like especially the men have loved their nipples played with. So
Okay.
like, okay, so when it comes to nipples, it's really like a case by case basis. So, as
Mhm.
a sexual communication professor, I have to first tell you that you should ask your partner first if they
Mhm.
like that area being explored, massaged, and stimulated. Because some
Mhm.
people really, not only that they don't feel great about it, they dislike it.
Yeah.
So that communication should be first piece. And if they're interested, sure, there's various strategies to stimulate the breasts and
Mhm.
and so let's start with slow and sensual, right? When we think of foreplay, I don't think anyone is thinking like slapping the boobs immediately,
I hope
like
not.
it's cold, you know? Like think of it as
So
it's
painful.
too cold. I want to be warmed up before you slap them. Like,
Yeah.
so
It's
first
like
things
slapping the
first is
bag
like,
with wine. You don't
no,
want to do that to my chest, please.
this is not brining chicken thighs. Like,
We
this
don't
is
need it.
a womanly human person.
Uh-huh.
It's not even a word, a womanly human person.
I like it.
That's who I am. I'm a womanly
Yeah,
human
I'm a
person.
womanly human person.
Yes, I
All
want
right,
to
how do you warm it up?
them massaged. I want to
Mhm.
feel like it's sensual and that you pay attention. So I think if you're the giver, it's very important that you focus and be attentive as you do the chest or the breast massage.
Uh-huh.
I would recommend using actually coconut oil if you're thinking like
Ooh.
more like different sensations, because
Uh-huh.
dry massage is good too, but I think coconut oil or other essential oils that to the liking of the receiver um,
Mhm.
can enhance the feeling. And when there is that friction between oil and hands and breasts, it heats up like
Mhm.
temperature wise, so it will be warmer, and
Right.
warmer helps also like blood flow to the area. It helps feeling more like pleasurable. So
Mhm.
I would say using some type of lubricant like essential oils or coconut oil
Mhm.
would be really great with this strategy of sensual breast massage.
Mhm.
I would say using both hands would be great and kind of going in a circular motion first,
Okay.
right? While squeezing as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to incorporating like touching the nipples, I would also still like massage the areolas first and then try
Oh.
like um soft pull or soft kind of playing with the nipples with
Mm-hmm.
your fingers and see how it feels and ask for feedback always.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the receiver like do you can I pull them or like do you want me to pull them? Because some people really feel turned on when they're pulled, but some
Mm-hmm.
people really hate it. So
Yeah. So you
always
got to be
check in.
careful.
Yeah,
I've
you always want to
definitely
check in.
I've definitely had partners that go straight in for like the pinch. And it's like, cause it's
Oh,
almost like they want my nipples to be hard. So they try to get them hard by like pinching. It's like, I don't want that. Just take your time and things will rise naturally. Like the bread, it will
literally.
rise on its own.
Exactly, like the
Uh-huh.
bread.
Yeah.
Nothing sexier than a bread analogy.
Then a bread analogy in the bedroom.
We love a bread analogy, but it's true. It's kind of like the
Hmm.
clitoris. It's like you don't want to just go in like bang, bang, bang. You want to massage it first, like help the blood flow to the
Hmm.
area, right? So the
Right.
breast is the same. I would say the first strategy being like sensual and slow massage, and then we
Hmm.
can kind of graduate to like a more dominant play of the
Oh.
breasts where it
Hmm.
involves like more squeezing, like more intention, more dominant energy playing with the breast. This can help, I think, the receiver to feel very like. Wasn't it you that told me you do like praise king almost?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was me. That sounds like me.
Yeah, or like you like the feeling of like almost being taken advantage of during sex.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
That is
So
me.
I think that feeling, like the dominance of the
Hmm.
person giving the breast massage with a more like
Yeah.
can help the receiver feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm such a good girl, being a good submissive,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
think that's a step up from the slow and sensual strategy. Are you a
Hmm.
fan of this kind of progression?
I really am. I love it because I have smaller breasts and I've always been a little insecure about it. And so if I can feel like there's attention being paid with slow and sensual and then graduating into a more aggressive and like I'm into it
Yeah.
feeling, then that feels like, okay, this isn't a part I need to be conscious of right now. Like you're having a good time. I'm feeling comfortable and confident. And so when there is like long term attention to it, like
Mhm.
in this arc, it does feel good. I feel like that would be a really nice thing to feel in the bedroom.
Yeah, so that would be my strategy. And for
Hmm.
my everyday kind of sex, it would end there.
Hmm.
But, I always want to offer alternative breast play
Hmm.
where if you are into it, we can also involve things like impact play, right? We can involve things like slapping. Some
Hmm.
people really like their titties like slapped.
Just fucking like punching back. You know that one at the arcade where you
I
just
don't
punch
know
as
about the
far as
punching.
That's what I
Like
figured.
slap, like who's daddy's good
Okay.
girl, and like titty slap, like slap the titties.
Okay.
Some people also like them like flogged, or hit
Hmm.
with like one of those like BDSM tools. Um,
Hmm.
you can also think of alternative play as like other types of play, like wax play. You can also
Mm.
pour wax onto the breasts, and for some people, the nipples, but I can't do nipples. I
Okay,
really
it's too
can't. But I've
sensitive.
heard women love like, oh yeah, I love like when wax poured onto my nipple. I'm like, ow!
Oh,
I really
yeah.
tried one, so I'm like, oh fuck, it's hot. But the breast, it
Yeah.
feels good. It
Hmm.
feels like a tiny bit of like shock at first, but
Yeah.
then when it's massaged in more, then it feels really good. So if you're into
Hmm.
alternative breast play, you can try the wax play, you can try impact play on them. You can also try temperature play on them. People like
Hmm.
using ice cubes on the nipples
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
or drinking hot tea or like hot water and then suck on the nipples.
Oh,
Yeah. all
That sounds
kinds of
nice.
things.
There's
I
so
know.
much
There's
to
just so
do.
so much to do, but I think this is a pretty comprehensive like breast and nipple play.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am someone who's been with men, and I think nipple play is fun, but I don't know if it feels good to do to them. But I love nipples. I think nipples are so fun to put in your mouth.
Well,
So,
some men do love it. Like my
yeah.
ex loved his nipples played with. So I think it's
Okay.
just like a very individualized thing.
Okay. And can men get nipple-gasms like women can?
Yes. Yes, they
Really?
yeah, they also have nerve endings. It's like anatomically correct. Like they have nerve endings,
Uh-huh.
so why not? If
Uh-huh.
if they don't feel good, it's probably a mental block, which is okay. Not
Yeah.
everyone has to work on overcoming all of their bodily mental blocks. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a
Hmm.
preference. Uh,
Right.
like my husband, like he really does not like them being touched.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
fine. But I do know that for people who have had great experiences with them, like for men who have had great experiences, they tend to really love it.
Oh, okay. So it's mainly
There's
you just
also
have to,
that shame. I don't know if you've
yeah.
heard like women that are like that are saying like, "Oh, my boyfriend wants me to play with his nipples." Like so weird.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It almost feels like if I've done it to partners, they've laughed at it because it seems like a feminine act to do to them. So it's almost like, don't do that. But it's like, but I wanna. Like, it sounds really fun. If it doesn't feel good, obviously I won't. But I know exactly what you're talking about with the shame because it's almost like it's more of a feminine act than something I
Yeah.
could do to them.
It's the same thing with the butthole. Like it's
Yeah.
straight men attaching sexual orientation to their body parts. When
Mm-hmm.
in fact, body parts are just body parts. If you
Just
ask
body
any
parts.
medical
Yeah.
doctors, they probably don't ask, like, what's your sexual orientation when they operate on these body parts. So, no, it's just body parts. Your nipples are
Just
just
body parts.
nipples.
Mm-hmm.
If men, women, non binary, whoever.
Right.
Your asshole is just your asshole.
Absolutely. And I'm going to get to that next because I have a lot of
Ooh.
we always have a lot of asshole questions. But if we're putting nipples in our mouth, what are the go-to strokes you can do or things you can do with your teeth that would feel good or be like arousing?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, always start with nibbles. Like, you never want to
Mm-hmm.
start immediately, like teeth. Maybe nibbling with your lips. Maybe nibbling with your lips first. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Okay.
and then graduate into like using the teeth to like nibble like this. And
Mm-hmm.
then ask like, does it feel good? Right? If they go like, oh yeah, that feels good, then maybe you can do a little bit harder. And you can
Mm-hmm.
also do grind like this. Um,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
like you can stay still and then just grind your teeth without like chopping.
Without chomping them off. Yeah.
You can do like a little chop, but you can also do
Mm-hmm.
like the grind. I think
Mm-hmm.
ultimately most people just like them being like licked and sucked,
Mm-hmm.
especially women. Like I've talked to lots of women about nipples, and most, not all, there some people don't like their nipples being played with, but most
Mm-hmm.
do like the licking and the sucking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like maybe it's biological.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, like even
Maybe.
people that don't want to be moms, like it's just maybe
Mm-hmm.
biological and internal to
Mm-hmm.
like them being sucked.
Yeah.
Although all my mom friends are like, dude, breastfeeding is the worst.
Yeah. I mean, because it gets raw, right? Your
Yeah.
kid's on there for like 9 months.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's just too much.
Yeah. Every single day. Because yeah, even when we do nipple play, we don't do it every day.
Right. Yeah, because it does tend to get like I've had partners who spend a little bit too long with just their fingers, like on my straight nipple, and it just feels a little too raw by the end of it. And
Yeah.
almost like it hurts being in shirts in my bras because like they've raw dogged my nipples for just way too long.
Yeah, you're sore.
It's
Yeah.
chafy. It hurts.
Yeah. Well, my tip is always like, especially an aftercare of
Mm.
nipple play. So it's
Mhm.
like everyone can do whatever they want but with the nipples. Like they can do the soft and sensual and just stay there. They can graduate into more aggressive. They can even try those alternative nipple plays. But
Uh-huh.
at the end of the day, I think everybody needs aftercare of nipple play, and I always love using coconut oil and massaging them in. It's like skincare. But
Yeah.
also like coconut oil is antibacterial, and so it's just
Mhm.
kind of making me feel good overall. It's also like a mental massage. Like, oh, okay, like my nipples are
Yeah.
okay. They're good.
They're okay. They're
Yeah,
okay.
they're good. I have their names too. Do you have names on
Do
your
you
nipple?
really? I don't. What are your names?
Do you want to come up with them together now?
Kinda. I name everything. So I name my car, I name all my appliances, so I don't know why I haven't named my nipples.
You name
How
all your
do you have to like channel
appliances?
the energy? Yes.
Yeah. Goes by like their size and energy. Because like my left boob is bigger. Is your left
Okay.
boob bigger too? I think it's a very common thing.
I think so.
Yeah. My left boob is
I
like
think my left boob is bigger.
significantly bigger.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
is so weird. I don't know why that happens, but I know it's very normal that one breast is usually a little bit bigger.
I think so. Yeah. So my left
Um,
boob is Sasha because
Sasha.
she's
Okay.
fierce. Like she's big, bold, beautiful. She's always the nipples always hard for some
Audacious.
reason.
Yeah. She just knows you're talking about her, so she came out to
Yeah.
play.
She's like, yo, bitch. That's her.
Just so
She is
aggressive.
below my loves. She is yo, bitch.
Yo, bitch. I like it. What's the other one?
The one on the right is Tasha. She's a little bit more
Oh.
modest. She's more like she's
A
a
little bit more
girly
shy.
girl. She's more modest. She's always kind of hiding. The nipple's always soft.
Okay. Yep, that
Yeah.
happens too.
So that's
Sasha
Tasha.
and
She's a little bit
Tasha.
more proper. In clothing,
Hmm.
she's kind of like properly in there. Like my left side's always like, yo, bitch.
Yeah. Just strong arming her way through your
Yeah, like
t-shirts.
it's yo, bitch. Anyway,
I
yeah.
fucking love it. All right,
Okay.
I'll have to think about it
Only the
because,
girls can say the B word, okay? For the men,
yeah,
you can't.
for the men listening, you can't say the B word. I'll have to think about it because, yes, this one's more in charge and more bodacious. I like that. And I
Ooh.
like ones that's a little bit
How
more
about like
shy.
Tiffany?
Tiffany? Okay.
Wait a minute. What's like an in charge name?
Uh, Beatrice. That's not it.
Ooh. I was gonna say
Um,
Michelle, but that's from Michelle Obama.
this one's Michelle Obama. I
Yeah.
kind of love that.
Ooh, right? Or do you want
And
Ruth?
then or Ruth. This one is Ruth Gator
Yeah.
Ginsburg. And what is she? She's mighty,
Yeah.
but just shyer. Um,
She's sweet. She's shy.
she's
She's
sweet.
Charlotte.
Aw, just Ruth and Charlotte.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. That sounds great.
Ruth
Thank
is
you for.
ruthless and Charlotte is shy.
Oh my God. Perfect.
Okay, that's my new
Perfect.
business. Any of the girlies want their boobies named, call me.
Call Dr. Tara. She does so many things, and nipple naming is one of them.
So many things.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, you mentioned the butt a couple of times, and I definitely want to dive down into that. Butt and balls are two of the other B words that I want to pay a little bit more attention to. When I'm talking about playing with the butt, I kind of go back to the same nipple play like with the partners I've had, where I love just like playing with a booty first and foremost, but it can kind of feel a little like I'm in charge when I'm playing with the butt. I don't know. What can we do with like the cheeks?
The cheeks? Ooh, I mean, I always think it's so passionate when my partner like licks my cheeks.
Oh,
Right?
fun.
Like, just like get in there, like lick it and
Mhm.
like bite it, leave a bite mark. How hot? How hot is it to
Mhm.
have like a little bruise the next day?
It totally is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. And he just does that on his own volition. What did you say?
I said we do not have issues.
We do not have issues. We're very healthy.
I just think it's so hard to like leave a mark. I think all of that psychology is really hot. So
Mhm.
yeah, like licking and biting the cheeks, I think can be
Mhm.
really hot, leaving your marking your territory.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I appreciate kind of what would you call biting? Like carnal play? Just
Well,
like
yeah. Like
yeah.
it's just animalistic, right? Like
Mhm.
animals bite and like they shred things together, shred things apart. So like
Yeah.
animalistic, like carnal play.
Mhm.
I really like that. It's when you're in a long-term relationship, like anything past 2 years, it's
Mm-hmm.
something that almost like it needs a lot of prep
Yeah.
be carnal because it's the
Mm-hmm.
person you've been seeing every single day. You sleep in the same bed for years. And
Yeah.
for people who want to incorporate more of this, like when we talk about these like passionate sexual
Mm-hmm.
encounters, it takes a lot of effort to get into it, and people need to set aside time and intention to do it. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
people that are listening that are in long-term relationships to feel turned off when we talk about these like carnal acts, because they might feel like, oh girl, like you talk like you're just
Mm-hmm.
dating, like we've been together five
Yeah.
10 years, like this is not
Mm-hmm.
happening. It can.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs that like intention and time.
Yeah. No, that's such a good point to bring up too. Because if Cass were here, she would talk about that as well. Like she's been with her partner for 7 years, and I would assume that jumping into the heat of the moment, that was like definitely 1 year, 2 year in type of energy. But when you're talking about being passionate, as you're more comfortable, setting aside time and attention to doing that. So is that like kind of doing more foreplay throughout the day, or like planning sex? What does it look like to be more intentional if you want to get like rough and carnal?
I think it's both. I think that
Mm-hmm.
you can do all kinds of tricks to make sure that you maintain a healthy amount of like passion within your sexual encounters with your spouses or long-term partners. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what I really love is two things. Like first thing is making sure you insert play throughout the day, and that can look
Mm-hmm.
so different for different people. Some people, they love like smacking the butt in the living room, or you
Mm-hmm.
know cuddling, like cuddle up while you watch TV, and then maybe like massaging the other person's kind of genitalia like meanwhile, right? Like not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily trying to initiate sex, but like just to feel it out, back
Mm-hmm.
when you started dating, like just feeling it out.
Yeah.
But it can also be, you can also like sext. You can send them,
Mm.
you can start sexting with them during the day. But then the other part of it is making time. So yeah, it could look like, hey, should we eat early today so we can play after? Or maybe it could be like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, can we schedule like a Sunday afternoon to play and then go out to eat, like go out for dinner after?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Yeah.
being more intentional about these times rather than hoping it pops up out of nowhere. And when it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, like both people are just disappointed
Yeah.
and resentful that the other person doesn't initiate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Don't leave room for assumptions. Like communicate what you need,
mm-hmm.
right? If you're like, hey babe, we haven't had like long sex like for a while. We've only had quickies. Can we make sure we set aside time this weekend to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love these reminders all the time because it's so fun to dive into conversations like we're having, like the things that we can do with the body parts and how we get adventurous and all of these things. But it is a real part of the conversation is like being intentional and having the conversation, and also feeling okay if like this just doesn't happen in your relationship all the time. Like you do have to work towards it or be
Mhm.
intentional about creating space for it. So
Mhm.
very good point.
And also,
Um,
like, sex doesn't have to be penetration or end in penetration. Like, if we're doing
mhm.
butt massages and like licking, biting, it can just end there. It can just be a butt
Yeah.
worshipping session and it ends. You're like,
Yeah.
you bit me, ow, like that feels good. Thank you, bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, like it doesn't really have to go anywhere. When people think, oh, but all of these things that we just talked about, it all ends, like it all leads to penetrative sex, and then like, but I'm not feeling up for it. That's
Right.
okay. You don't have to have penetrative sex like ever.
Mm-hmm. Ever. I know that doesn't have to be the end goal. And that's another one of the things that I've loved learning through this podcast is like orgasm, penetrative sex, and the definition of sex. All of those things can be your own quote unquote goals, or they can be your own definition. And no sex act or even however rowdy you get doesn't have to lead to anything else if you don't want it to.
Hmm.
But let's say you do.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to stick a finger or two into the bum.
Mhm.
I know that there has to be some conversation before you do that. So what is pre-entry prerequisite for
Oh,
butt play?
oh my gosh. I mean, obviously, all of these plays involve a conversation prior
Mhm.
to it happening. And in this conversation, especially when we're talking butt play for both men and women, um, it's seen as a more like taboo sexual act, if you will, because
Mhm.
like penis in vagina is a given, right? Like it's
Mhm.
that's what most people would say sex. Nowadays people are much more comfortable with oral sex. They're
Mhm.
much more comfortable with like hand jobs and hand like stimulation. So
Mhm.
I think something that is still kind of taboo is anal for men. uh,
Mhm.
for women as well in some areas of the country or the world, but for
Yeah.
men particularly, it's still quite taboo. So this
Mhm.
conversation has to sound like something along the line of us together exploring rather than like, I want to do this to you, right?
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
hey babe, like last week we had sex and it was so good. I think this week I want us to try something new. I heard from the Honeydew Me podcast and they were talking about massaging the butthole and then like a little bit of a rim job. And I just thought we would have fun trying it. What do you
Mhm.
think? Um, it's always good to ask present the idea
Mhm.
and then ask the person what they think first rather than like, I want to do it.
Mhm. Such a good point because that sounds completely different of saying I want to do this to you
Right.
versus I heard this and I would love for us to explore this together.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
actually did like an online like therapy session live on Twitch with a Twitch creator once, and it was like a live couples therapy. So it was a couple and they're young,
Mm.
right? They're like in their
Mhm.
early 20s, and the girl keeps saying, I want to peg you. I want to peg you. So he goes like, well, like I'm not gonna want to do it because you're like pushing me.
Right.
Right. So I always tell people like you never want to approach a conversation like I want to do this to you.
Mhm. Very fair because yeah, that just feels like it's not a consensual environment anymore and it's like, okay, so this is for you and you didn't
What
even
about
ask if I
me?
wanted to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what about me and how I
100%.
feel is my body.
So if they're good with the go ahead, you're saying a little anal you said massaging like the hole on the outside or the inside if we're going to do.
Massaging the hole on the outside using the
Oh,
thumb, but also lube it up. Don't like just
okay.
don't dry massage. I've had a
Mhm.
friend that like likes to like dry massage and dry finger the butthole. He got like hemorrhoid. So
I was going to say, that was one of my questions is like, isn't that a risk if you're just going in?
it is. I'm like, oh my god, like you're asking me about your hemorrhoid, like what's your butt play routine? And he was explaining it to me. I'm like, obviously you're getting like hemorrhoids because you're
Yeah.
not supposed to do that. You should lube it up like way lubey first. So
Mm.
make sure that you either use lube that you like or might go to coconut oil.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
to massage the area. I actually recently had this done to me by my husband, and it feels amazing. He uses coconut oil all over his thumbs and index finger, and then he'll like massage it like this around my
Mm.
hole while I
Mhm.
use a vibrator on my clit.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
A lot is going on.
A lot is going on, but
Yeah,
it
and
sounds
it
like a
feels
good time.
amazing because like I feel like
Mhm.
when I came, like it almost felt like stronger because my butthole
Uh-huh.
was also very like clenched.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He stayed on the outside though, you're saying, right?
yeah, he was just
Okay.
massaging the hole using his like lubed thumb,
Mhm.
and I was using a vibrator on top. But yeah, for those that also like to play inside,
Mhm.
you can kind of massage the butthole first. Always massage the butthole first because you want to make sure it's like in a warm condition, so it's more stretchy. Whenever the
Okay.
skin is cold, it will constrict and it will
Mhm.
not be expanding or it will not feel good on the inside. So make sure that it's warm and massaged.
Mhm.
Then when you enter, use one finger first. Make sure you also don't have long ass nails like this.
Yeah. Fucking talons going up your
Yeah,
ass.
exactly. Is that a woman or a cat?
Or a cat. That's so
So
funny.
make sure, or a sloth.
Yeah. That would
Sloths
be
have really
so
long
painful.
nails. Sloths have
I think
really long
so.
nails, right?
Yeah, because they
And they
climb
get
around
wrinkles.
a
Yeah.
yep. You're right. You're completely right.
No sloth nails if you're doing anal. Um, so yeah, make sure that you use the one finger first. Go in and kind of doing this like all around, massaging it all around on the inside, and then
Oh.
go like this, right? In a
Mm-hmm.
circular motion using the finger. And if you want, you can you can try start like stretching it. I know
Mm-hmm.
that um I learned this from the gays, and they always like stretch their butthole before they have penetrative sex, and it always feels like
Okay.
so much better than
Mm-hmm.
s- a hole that's not stretched out yet.
Oh, that's not quite stretched yet.
Yeah.
How do you stretch your own butthole?
Well, you can do it your own, or you can have your partner do it as a part of the foreplay, which I think is
Uh-huh.
easier. Like I like having my husband kind of like massaging it and then putting a finger in and then stretching it on the inside. But you can
Mm-hmm.
also do it yourself by again like lubing up your finger, sit in like a yogi squat, and then
Okay.
um putting your finger up and stretch around the hole.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've never gotten to that position before. I've never used my hands on my own butt before. I have
Ooh.
tried anal beads, and actually, I have beef with anal beads because they're too flimsy that if
Ooh.
I'm a beginner figuring it out, first of all, like just getting used to touching and being near my butthole, I don't want to have to like shove beads up my butt. I would rather use a plug that kind of is like obviously stiffer and goes in itself.
I think it depends on the technology. Like
Mm-hmm.
Lelo has one that's hard. So it's
Oh,
beads,
okay.
and it starts from very small and then bigger and then bigger and then bigger. So
Uh-huh.
you can kind of just use that first ball, like
Mm-hmm.
that first bead without moving any deeper, and that would just be like your level one kind of play.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But that one it stays straight up. It doesn't go like flimsy. So I think it just depends on the product and the brand. But
Mm-hmm.
I like anal beads in terms of training because I can't just like have anal sex. Like it
Yeah.
takes time. So if my
Mm-hmm.
partner's like, okay, we're gonna go on a staycation this weekend and I want to have anal sex, I'll be like, okay, so Thursday, I'm gonna like, Thursday I'm gonna want some like butt massage, whole massage, rim job, and like anal,
Mm-hmm.
maybe one, maybe two balls max. Uh,
Okay.
Massaging it around while I play with my clit or while he plays with my clit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I need prep.
Right. Yeah, totally. What can you do if you're in the moment where like you are engaging in anal play and you feel yourself kind of clenching up and getting a little like tight down there? Because either you're nervous about it or it's like feeling tight.
Mhm. Ooh,
Okay.
taking deep breaths to the tummy. So like
Mm.
deep breath through your nose down
Mm-hmm.
to the tummy, and then just keep taking deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
That will definitely help loosen up that area. More lube
Mm-hmm.
can help as well. And
Okay.
then perhaps whatever else that usually turns you on, maybe it's playing with the nipples, like have your partner play with your nipples. Maybe it's
Mm.
grabbing a vibrator and play with your clit so that, there's more blood flow around that area in general. Um,
Right.
that will
That's true.
really help.
Okay. And what can we expect for the next day? Like, let's say this is kind of your first or second time playing with your butthole or having someone else play with it. Is it going to be like sore? And what can we do to kind of make it better?
Yeah, if you have like if you have anal sex, it
Uh-huh.
will be sore. Um,
Okay.
but if you're just like massaging the butthole, fingering it, and then like licking it like rim jobs, there's
Mm-hmm.
like no repercussions.
Okay. Nothing should feel uncomfortable or hurt the next day.
I get my butthole massaged regularly, so I'm pretty sure
Oh.
there's no like repercussions in terms of pain or like poop just
Uh-huh.
coming out randomly the next day. I would have known if that
Oh.
happened. If you like don't know that, like you can just not talk to me.
Let's not talk to me.
But if
That's
you
so
have anal
funny.
sex, yes, the next day it will be sore.
Yeah, okay. So just prepare for that going in and take whatever precautions to make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable the next day.
Yeah, like if you have a long trip to Asia where you like have to sit on the plane for 20 hours, do not have anal sex the
Do
day
not have
before.
anal sex the day before.
Right.
Okay. Great tip. Solid tip.
Uncomfortable.
Comfortable. Well, I want to wrap up with a little bit of ball play, and I have one very specific question that I want to end with. But
Yeah.
to begin with, what are your go-to tips and tricks for ball play? What are your favorite like hand maneuvers or mouth maneuvers?
Yes. So my favorite go-to is giving my partner a blow job, hand job combo while using my left hand fondling the balls.
Okay.
And it's explosive for
Talented
anyone that has
woman.
like a male partner. Um,
Okay.
it's really a pro move because I used to just give the blowjob with a hand job combo, but then
Uh-huh.
I realized that from a good friend of mine that's in the porn industry
Mm-hmm.
that fondling the balls as well can really like stimulate that whole area, and when they come harder.
Okay.
So I would do the blowjob hand job combo, use my left hand fondle the balls, and as he's about to come, I grab it harder, but not too hard because they it
Uh-huh.
can startle them and they can lose their literally lose their erection.
Oh,
And
that's
it has
sad.
happened. So
I
just
can
make sure when
startle
you
them.
like tuck it harder when they're about to come, you like go
Uh-huh.
up and like tuck it in, like not don't pull, don't like
Mm-hmm.
grab it too hard. Just be there, like snug, and it will
Okay.
help them come like even harder. So that's my go-to tip. You're welcome,
Okay.
everybody.
You're welcome.
Yeah, your partner is gonna be head over heels.
And because this is my final question, and because you are my favorite dirty talk expert pro, what is dirty talk you can say to balls?
Ooh, yeah. Oh my God. Um, the, one of my favorites is and dirty is, does daddy want to put his balls on my face? When I say that, he
That-
literally gets up on his feet and like come over, like sit down and put his balls in my face and in my mouth. Like, does daddy want to put his balls in my mouth? Um,
okay.
it's
Do you
hot.
praise them at all? Like, do you say like cool big balls or like
Oh, big balls. Yes, praises are always great, right? Like it's great for
Uh-huh.
women, it's great for men. So like, I always go like, your balls are so big, or like, oh,
Okay.
I love having your balls in my mouth, or like,
Mm.
you're like, your balls smell so good.
Okay.
Yeah. After shower, because
After
the
a
balls
shower.
and the paint is like
That's
a danger area.
that's a specifically timed compliment that I can
Exactly.
appreciate.
And I think some couples do this for fun. And sure, if it's in their repertoire, they can do it. But I don't recommend a lot of people do it is talk to the balls. Like baby talk
Mm.
to the balls and penis in general. I have heard couples that came to my coaching practice that do it and it's a turn on, which is fine. But I
Mhm.
find most men do not like that.
That's a super fair thing to not like. I appreciate
Right.
that.
Like, oh, my balls are so cute. They're so cute. They're so small and cute.
It's just the last thing you want to hear.
It's
Because
the
then,
last thing
even
I
if you're
hear.
complimenting, you're like, it sounds like you're lying.
Yeah.
It sounds like a big old lie.
And no one wants balls that are small and cute.
No one
They
wants
want it
that,
to
I
be
don't
big and
think.
intimidating.
like, like, what is it? Oh, your boob.
Sasha.
Sasha. Like Sasha.
Yeah, like
Sup, bitch.
Sasha. What's
Yep.
yours? Are we doing Ruth?
Ruth
Yeah.
and Charlotte.
Yeah. Ruth and Charlotte.
Oh
Oh.
my God. Well, thank you so much for coming on and giving us this speed round on how we can pleasure the rest of our naughty bits. Where can our listeners keep continuing to connect with you after this episode?
Yes, you can go to my website. That's lovebites.co, LUVBITES.co. You can also go to my Instagram and TikTok through lovebites.co.